Okay, for this project, I am using just regular Red Heart Super Saver, which is a medium worsted weight, 100% 4-ply acrylic yarn. And you don't have to use this brand. You can use any type of 4-ply yarn that you have. You can use a different kind of acrylic. You can use cotton. You can use wool. It's all going to work the same. The colors I am using is, this one's coffee, and then I have cafe latte. And then I have this lighter brown. I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of it, and I don't have the tag because this is just my scrap yarn pile. This would be a good scrap yarn bag, but it's just a light brown. So 3 colors of brown. You use any colors that you want though. And then I'm going to be using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And then I have a couple handles that I'm going to be sewing on at the end. Now, if you don't have any handles, you can make homemade ones. That's fine. Just go ahead and crochet your own. I got these off an old bag. The best place to get handles is off old bags that you find at resale shops or the Goodwill store. That's where I always get mine. They're a lot cheaper than buying them online. But if you can't find any and you want real handles and you want to buy them online, the best place to get them would be eBay and Amazon, I would say. But you don't have to use these. You can use any type of handle that you want. You can sew on 2 handles, sew on 1 handle, 1 long one. It's up to you. And it's going to be made with 10 granny squares. Here's the squares I made. And you don't have to do the square that I did. If you have a different square that you like a whole lot, you can use any type of square that you want. You just need 10 of them. Doesn't even matter the size. But this square here is about 5 inches, if I'd say between 4 and 5 inches, something like that. But any square you want, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this one because this is a really easy square, so it should be a pretty easy bag. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to go ahead and work a chain of 4. And I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain to form a ring. And if you want to use the magic circle here, you could do that too. Okay, now I'm going to start with a chain of 1. That chain 1 does not count as anything at all. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be working 12 double crochets through the center of the ring. So I'm going to yarn over and go right through the center and draw up a loop, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my double crochet. So that's my first one, and I want 12. So I'm going to keep doing that. That's 2. Yarn over, go through the ring, draw up a loop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and here's 12. Now what I'm going to do is slip stitch into the first double crochet to end that round. Not the chain 1, but the first double crochet that we made. Go ahead and slip stitch into it just like that, and you'll have 12 double crochets. Now if you want to pull your tail, it'll usually close up that center circle a little bit more, and then you can always sew it together more at the end. Okay, we're going to start round 2 by chaining 1, and again that chain 1 does not count as anything. Now we're going to work 2 double crochets right back here into the same stitch here that we slip stitched into. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go right into that same spot, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets. So there's 1, I'm going to go into the same one again, and 2. And now I'm going to work 2 double crochets in every single stitch all the way around. Two doubles into the next. Two doubles into the next. So I'm just going to repeat this, 2 doubles every stitch all the way around until I get back to the beginning. And when I get back to the beginning, I should have a total of 24 stitches. Okay, I've made it back around and I counted and I have my 24 stitches. So you want to go ahead and end that round by slip stitching into the first double crochet. Not the chain one, but the first double crochet. Like that. And I'm going to clip my yarn now. I always clip my yarn when I change colors. You don't have to do that, but I always do. And now I'm going to move on to my lighter color here. Now you can start your yarn in any stitch that you want. I always try to start at opposite side of my tail. That way I can work this tail in as I'm going, and then when I get over here I can work this tail in. That's just what I do. That way I don't have so many tails to sew in later. But you can start in any stitch. Go ahead and pull your yarn through. Okay, hold it tight and chain one. And again, that chain one does not count as anything. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this circle and we're going to square it off. So we're going to put a corner right here in this stitch. So we're going to do 2 double crochets into that stitch. There's 1 and 2. And then we're going to chain 1, a loose chain 1. And then we're going to go back into that same stitch and put 2 more double crochets. There's 1 and 2. And that formed our first corner of our square. Now I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And now I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So half doubles. So 1 half double into the next. 1 half double into the next. And then 1 half double into the next. So that was 3 half doubles in a row. And now I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And now the next stitch I'm going to work this corner again. So I'm going to go into the next stitch and I'm going to work 2 double crochets, a loose chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets all into the same stitch. So now we have 2 corners formed. So again, I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 1 half double, 1 half double, 1 half double. So that was 3 half doubles in a row, and then 1 double into the next. And the next stitch is going to be the corner stitch. So we just go in and we work 2 doubles, loose chain 1, and 2 more doubles. And this is what we're going to do the whole way around. We're just going to repeat that. So that now we have our 3rd corner made. So again, we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 1 half doubles, 2 half double, and 3 half double, and then 1 double crochet into the next. And then the next one is going to be a corner. So it's going to be 2 doubles, chain 1 loosely, and 2 more doubles. Like that. And that is our 4th corner. So now we just got to go finish up these stitches. So it's 1 double crochet into the next, 1 half double into the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll have 1 stitch left, 1 double crochet there in that last stitch. And now we're going to end it by slip stitching into our first double crochet, not the chain one, the first double, just like that. So it's kind of starting to get squared off, you can see. Now we're going to go around it again. So I'm going to chain one. I'm going to go and put a double crochet right there into that same stitch that I slip stitched into. And now I'm going to work one double crochet into the next stitch. And then right here is the corner, that chain one. I'm going to put a corner in it again. So it's going to be right through that space, 2 double crochets, a loose chain of 1, and then 2 more double crochets, just like that. And now I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch across. We're not going to work half double crochets anymore. It's just straight double crochets. But one thing you want to make sure, you get this very first stitch. Sometimes it hides underneath the corner, so I always pull it over and make sure you go right into that very first one and double crochet, because if you don't get him, your square will be lopsided. So 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the next corner space or the next chain 1. Okay, I've reached my next chain 1 space, so I'm just going to go right into it, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets, a loose chain of 1, and 2 more double crochets, just like that. And remember to pull this over so you can get this guy right here that always is hiding. And now I'm just going to repeat this all the way around, just 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to your next corner space, and then you make your corner in it, and just keep repeating until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it all the way around, and what I'm going to do is end it with the slip stitch into my first double crochet, and for some reason there's a knot in my yarn. I always love that. And now I'm going to tie this off, if I can get that knot pulled through there, and I'm going to clip my yarn like that. And now I'm going to start with my last collar, so you can kind of pull the corners and see that it looks a little bit more square now. So now I'm going to be using my dark collar, and I'm going to apologize right now for it being dark. I hope you can see it. You want to start in any one of the corner spaces. Go ahead and start by chaining 1. Chain 1 does not count as anything. What we're going to do is we're going to put 2 single crochets through that corner space. So there's 1, 2, and then I'm going to chain 1, and you got to kind of slide them over. And I'm going to put 2 more single crochets into that space. So it's just like the corner that we've been doing, but instead of double crochet, we're using single crochet. And you want to make sure you slide it over and get this first guy right here. And we're going to single crochet in every single stitch until I get to my next corner. So it's really easy. It's just like we did the previous row, except for using single crochet instead of double crochet. Just like that. And when you get to your next corner, go ahead and put 2 single crochet. There's 1, 2, chain 1 kind of loosely, and slide them over and put 2 more single crochet like that, and then slide them over to get that first stitch there like that. And now just repeat this all the way around until you get back to the beginning. just like that. Okay, once you've made it back around, you want to slip stitch into the first single crochet, not that chain one, with the first single crochet, and then tie that off. Now you can hide all these tails, kind of pull it out, make it square shaped here. And then you want to sew in these tails. Most of them I hid while I was crocheting, so they're weaved in there already. That's the best way to do it. So I just gotta hide that one and this one. Okay, but then you want to go ahead and you want to make 10 squares. I already have my 10 done, so I'm going to show you how to sew it together. And we're just going to sew it together by using a yarn needle and some yarn. If you prefer to slip stitch it together or single crochet it together, it's completely up to you. But I'm just going to like whip, sorry, I have a needle in my mouth. I'm just going to go ahead and whip stitch it together. It's pretty easy that way. Okay. I'll show you how it lays out. Maybe if I can even get my... Okay. So I just got my yarn and my needle here. I got some of it sewed together already. So, what you want to do is just sew 6 pieces together just like this. See, they're sewed. And I'll show you how to sew them, but 6 pieces laid together like this. And I'm going to show you how it all gets put together. These are all sewed together, so that's what you want to do first, is sew your 6 pieces together. But then this piece flips over like that, and this one flips over like that, and that's kind of the shape of the bag. So when you flip it over, you'll sew your other pieces on like this. 3 up here, and this one right here. So these corners actually get sewed along this one and along this one, like that, on both sides. So along this one and this one, like that. So it's really pretty easy. But first, get your 6 pieces sewed together like I did. Okay, and I'll go ahead and show you how to sew these 6 pieces together. But I'm going to set this to the side for now. All it is whip stitching it. So you take a piece and you put the good sides together so the bad sides are facing you. And you take your yarn needle and your yarn and you start in that chain 1 space. You just got to kind of look for it. Doesn't have to be exact, but try to get that chain 1 space if you can of this piece, and the same one on this piece, and pull through. Now I'm just going to bring my yarn over the top here, and I'm going to go into the next stitch on this piece. I'm sorry, my yarn's dark. And the next stitch on this piece, and sew it up. And then I'm just going to do that all the way around. The next stitch on this piece, I'm going through both loops of both stitches. The next stitch on this piece, like that. Grab the next stitch here, and the next stitch here, both loops of both stitches. The next stitch here, and next stitch here, like that. And I'm just going back over, grab the next stitch here, the next stitch here, go through, going back over. And I'm just going to do this, and this is how they get sewed together, piece by piece. Sewing together granny squares isn't really my favorite thing to do. It is kind of time consuming, but just like this. So it's just piece by piece is how you sew it. I'm just grabbing a piece on this side, going through both loops of it, And then the same piece, same stitch on this side, going through both loops of it and going over just like that. And I'm going to do this, or you want to do this until you get your 6 pieces sewed together. Like that. Now you can add another piece when you get to the end. You just go through chain 1 space here and the chain 1 space here, like that, and then you open it up, and that's what it looks like. It's a nice clean seam. Now if you want to keep going, you can just take your next 2 pieces without clipping this yarn, put the back sides of them where the back sides are facing out, and you just continue. So you just grab the chain 1 on this one and the chain 1 on this one and go through them, and then you just continue and then keep going through, and then these 2 will be hooked together when you flip them over right side. But then they'll be hooked together, and then you can add 2 more and sew them together like that. Or you can sew them individually. That's completely up to you. Okay, once you get your 6 pieces sewed together, you want to take your other 4 and you want to sew them just like this, kind of like in a T-shaped. So it's 3 sewed on top and then 1 right here in the middle. And you just sew them the same way. You just whip stitch them together. I just sewed them individually together. So now we're going to sew the whole bag together. So what you want to do is take your 6 pieces and you want to put the right side facing you, just like this. And then you want to take the pieces that are T-shaped, put wrong side facing you, like that. And I'm going to show you how we sew it together. We just whip stitch it together, and we just start up here in the corner, and we sew this whole top 3 pieces does not get sewed together. That's the opening of the bag. But we got to sew all the rest of this together. So you just start right here and you sew these 2 pieces, and then you flip this like this. The wrong side is going to be facing you, and that's fine. And then you sew these pieces, this together and this together right down this side, and then you'll have to sew these bottom 2 pieces together. And then you flip this corner up and you sew this corner, or this side of this corner, and then this side, and then these last 2 pieces right here on the other side, just like that. And you just whip stitch it like you've been doing. Now you can do it in one solid sew if you want to, or you can do it each individually. But again, you start here at this corner and you sew these 2 pieces together, and this one flips up, and it's this side and this side and this side, and then the bottom 2 bottom pieces, and this one flips up, so it's this side and this side and this side and this side. They get sewed together, and then right here up this last side, just like that. And then when you're done, you'll be able to flip your bag right side out, and the seam will be on the inside, because that's how we've been working it so far. So I'm going to go ahead and get started getting mine all sewed up. Okay, once you got it all sewed up here like that, you want to flip it right side out, and then I always just hope for the best. And I hope that it looks okay, which it should though. Get it all flipped out here as it's supposed to be, and actually don't look too bad. My seams look pretty good. You can kind of stretch your seams out a little bit so they're not so, just kind of stick your hand in there and push up on the seam a little bit. That way they don't stick out so much, but that's it. That's what I do. There we go. That don't look too bad. But now I'm going to go around the top and straighten it out, because it's kind of a mess up there. So I'm going to use my dark yarn for that, for the first row, and then I'm going to switch to a different color. I'm going to start right over here in the corner. You can see where it's stitched together, the seam. I'm going to go to the stitch, the first stitch on the opposite side of the seam, and I'm going to start my yarn there. And I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to put one single crochet back into that same stitch. Now I'm just going to skip that seam and just jump to the next single crochet over here and single crochet into it, just like that. And now I'm just going to put one single crochet in every stitch. I'm just going to clean up the top a little bit with this dark color, and then I'm going to switch to a different color and put kind of a little brim on it. So this is one single crochet in every stitch. Okay, I'm coming up here to another seam. Just skip over that seam and jump to the first single crochet on the opposite side of it. You don't really have to do anything about that seam, just like that. You don't have to put no single crochet in the seam area or anything. Just jump over it. So I'm just going to continue this one single crochet in every stitch all the way around until I get back to the beginning. And again, I'm coming up to another seam where I sewed my two pieces together. Just go into the single crochet, do the single crochet into the stitch before the seam, and single crochet into the stitch directly after the seam, just like that. So I'm going to do this all the way around until I get back to my starting spot. Okay, when you made it all the way around, you just want to slip stitch into your first single crochet, and then you can tie that off. Now I'm going to switch to a lighter color so you'll be able to see that better. Okay, I'm going to go to my medium color, brown, and you can start anywhere you want. Probably just start right over here. It's just kind of where I left off. Now I'm going to do some decrease rows to make the bag, top of the bag, a little bit smaller, so it's not, give it a little bit, make it come in a little bit, I guess, so it's not so wide, I guess. Okay, you want to just start in any stitch and chain one. What we're going to do is we're going to do 6 single crochets in a row, and then we're going to do a single crochet decrease. Now how many stitches you had around at the end of that last row doesn't matter. So stitch count doesn't really matter anymore. But what you want to do is you want to go and chain one and go back right into that same stitch and single crochet. And we're going to do 6 in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to do a decrease, and the decrease is worked over 2 stitches. So you go into the next stitch and draw up a loop, and then you go into the next one and draw up a loop, and then you yarn over and go through all 3 loops on your hook. That took 2 stitches and made it into 1. So now we're just going to repeat that. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to decrease, which is worked over these 2 stitches. So go into the next stitch and draw up a loop, go into the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. 1 single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to decrease. So go into the next stitch, drop a loop, and then the next one, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then decrease. Go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, and the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, when you make it all the way around, it doesn't matter whatever you mean, it's not going to come out perfect. So I just did a decrease here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches left. So I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in each of those 6 stitches. Now you might have different than me, and that's fine if you do. Just go ahead and finish it out. If you end in a decrease, that's fine. If you have 1 stitch left, that's fine. Just go ahead and finish out your repeat there. And then when you make it back around, what we're going to do is I'm going to use a stitch marker. So I'm just going to use a piece of yarn here, and I am going to put it right here. That way I know where I begin and where I end. And I'm going to jump over here to the first single crochet we did in this color and single crochet into it. Not the chain 1, but a single crochet. And now I'm just going to go and I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around. We're not going to decrease this round. 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get back to the beginning. Just like that. Okay, once you make it back around to your stitch marker, oh, I got 1 more stitch here. I'm going to do another round of decreases now. So I'm going to pull my stitch marker up and put it right back here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 double crochets in a row, and then I'll do 5 single crochets in a row, and then I'll do a single crochet decrease. I'm sorry that I said double. I get confused on my stitches sometimes. So I'm going to work 5 single crochets in a row. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now I'm going to do my decrease. So I'm going to go into the next stitch, drop a loop, go into the next one, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. 5 single crochets in a row. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then a decrease. Go into the next stitch, drop a loop, next one, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. 5 single crochets in a row. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a decrease. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around until I get back to my stitch marker. Okay, once you make it back around, and again, just go ahead and finish out whatever repeat you had till you get to your stitch marker. And now I'm going to pull my stitch marker up, and now I'm just going to be working rows of 1 single crochet in every stitch. I'm not going to be doing any more decreases. And you can make this part as tall as you want. I'll probably do, I'm not sure, 2 or 3 more rows of just 1 single crochet in every stitch. So I'm going to get started on that, but again, you can do more. You don't even have to do any more if you don't want. It's however tall you want it to look. It's your bag. So I'm going to keep working 1 single crochet in every stitch. Remember, we're not doing any more decrease rows. We only done those 2. 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back to my stitch marker. Then I'm going to move my stitch marker up, and I'm going to go around again. And I'll let you know here in a minute how many total rows I do of the 1 single crochet in every stitch. Okay, I went ahead and just did 2 more rows of single crochet after that last row of decreases. So that makes a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows total of this light brown color. So we did the decrease row, and then a regular single crochet row, a decrease row, and then 2 more rows of single crochet. But you can do more or less if you want. Okay, I made it back to my stitch marker. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that next stitch, and then I'm going to tie that off and clip my yarn, and you can take that stitch marker out too, and you're not going to need it anymore. Now the last thing I have to do is just sew on my handles. And if you're going to make handles, that's fine. You can make your own. But if you have handles like these, I'm just going to use my yarn needle and just sew them. I'll probably just sew them where, I don't know, wherever you want actually. Probably sew mine in the middle of these last two squares. Or pretty close to the middle. But you can do it however you want. It's completely up to you. I'm just going to use that medium brown yarn and my yarn needle, and I'm just going to sew them on like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to probably go just a couple rows down, maybe sew it along the third row, kind of in the middle of this one, and that is in case you have a handle like me. If not, you can just make your own. Sew them on here. And the way I sew on these with rings is just like this, over and under until I get them sewed on. And back through. And then back through. And I'll do that all the way across the ring here. So I'm going to go ahead and get both my handles sewed on, and you get your handles made or sewed on, whatever type you have. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up off camera real quick. Okay, I got my handles sewed on, and then I got this necklace that I got at the Goodwill store. They had a whole bunch of jewelry on sale, like a whole big container of it for like $5. So I got a whole bunch of stuff to embellish bags with, but I'm going to use this, and it's to hold a little, used to have a little picture in it. So I'm going to get a picture of my children and shrink it down to this size and glue it in here. But I'm just going to put it on my bag now just for decoration. I'm just going to hook it to the ring, because it's just a necklace. Now you don't have to do this. I always like to put little things on my bags for decoration. There we go. And then I'll have my kid's picture in there. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. If you make this or anything else, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You could post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. Don't forget to check me out on Pinterest and Twitter, Instagram, and Etsy. I'll put the link to all that stuff below. Until next time, have a good day.